You check your phone, no new messages. You check it again 10 minutes later, still nothing. It feels small. It feels like nothing at all. But your brain is treating it like a 5-alarm fire. Somewhere in your skull, right now, a system built over millions of years is scanning for one thing. Not food, not shelter, connection. And when it doesn't find enough of it, something strange happens. Your body starts to behave as if you are in physical danger. That sounds dramatic. It isn't. For most of human history, being alone didn't just feel bad. It was a death sentence. A person separated from the group had no one to watch their back while they slept. No one to help fight off a predator. No one to share food during a bad season. So your ancestors evolved a warning system for disconnection, and it works almost exactly like the warning system for hunger or thirst. Loneliness isn't just an emotion, it's an alarm. The neuroscientist John Cacioppo spent decades studying exactly this alarm. He found that when people feel socially isolated, their brains respond in ways that closely resemble a threat response. Vigilance increases. Sleep gets lighter and more fragmented. The nervous system stays partially on alert, as if danger might come from any direction. Cacioppo called this hypervigilance for social threat, and he argued it was not a flaw. It was a feature, a survival tool, inherited from a time when isolation truly could get you killed. Here's the part that should stop you. This ancient alarm does not know the difference between a real threat and a modern inconvenience. It cannot tell the difference between being exiled from your tribe 10,000 years ago and simply not getting a text back today. Your nervous system reacts the same way either way. Cortisol rises, sleep suffers. Inflammation increases throughout the body. Which raises an uncomfortable question. What if loneliness isn't just uncomfortable? What if it's actually dangerous? In 2010, researcher Julianne Holt-Lunstad led a massive analysis combining data from over 300,000 people across dozens of studies. She wanted to know how strongly social connection predicted survival. The results were staggering. People with weak social ties had a risk of early death comparable to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, comparable to obesity, comparable to physical inactivity. Read that again. Loneliness, according to the data, can be as dangerous to your body as a pack of cigarettes a day. Not metaphorically dangerous. Statistically dangerous. Your ancestors' warning system was right. Isolation really can kill you. It just does it slowly, through inflammation, through stress hormones, through a body that never fully powers down its alert state. So why does modern life feel lonelier than ever when we are more connected than any generation before us? Because connection and contact are not the same thing. You can be surrounded by hundreds of people online and still trigger the ancient alarm because your nervous system isn't built to recognize a notification as belonging. It evolved to recognize eye contact, shared meals, physical presence, touch, a voice in the same room as yours. Scrolling through a feed of other people's lives can quietly convince your body that you are watching the tribe from outside its fire, close enough to see the light, far enough to feel the cold. This isn't new information to your body, it's ancient information, dressed in a new environment. Long before Cacioppo and Holt-Lunstad put numbers to this, the psychologist Harry Harlow ran a series of experiments in the 1950s that revealed just how deep the need for connection goes. He separated infant monkeys from their mothers and gave them 2 artificial substitutes. One was made of bare wire but dispensed milk. The other was covered in soft cloth but offered no food at all. Logic would suggest the infants should cling to whichever one fed them. They didn't. The baby monkeys spent almost all of their time clinging to the soft cloth mother, only leaving briefly to feed from the wire one before rushing back to comfort. Harlow's experiment suggested something your ancestors already knew in their bones. Connection isn't a bonus need layered on top of survival. For a social species, it functions as a survival need in its own right. Think about what that means for you right now in a world of video calls and typed messages and likes. Your nervous system is still running software optimized for small tribes. Groups of maybe 50 to 150 people where you knew every face, every voice, every footstep outside your shelter. That number isn't random either. Anthropologists studying group sizes across history and across primate species have repeatedly landed near that same range, a rough ceiling on how many relationships a human brain can meaningfully track at once. Now compare that to your actual life. Hundreds of contacts, dozens of chats, a feed that never stops moving. Your brain wasn't built for that volume. It was built for depth, not breadth, which means you can be in constant digital contact with people and still be operating with a mismatch your ancestors never had to face. Wide, shallow networks instead of small, deep ones. Presence without proximity. Contact without belonging. Is it any wonder the alarm keeps going off? Here is the twist most people miss. The ancient alarm was never designed to punish you for being alone. It was designed to move you toward people. Loneliness, in its original form, is not a flaw in your character. It's a signal. Exactly like hunger is a signal to eat, or thirst is a signal to drink. The problem isn't that the signal exists. The problem is that modern life has made the signal easy to silence without ever answering it. You can scroll instead of call. You can react to a photo instead of asking someone to coffee. You can fill the space where connection should be with something that looks like it, without ever satisfying the ancient system underneath. And the body knows the difference, even when the mind convinces itself otherwise. So what does answering the alarm actually look like? Not more contacts, not more platforms. The research points somewhere simpler and somewhat harder. Actual time in the same space as another person. Shared meals. Repeated low-stakes contact with the same small group of people over time. The exact structure your ancestors lived inside for almost the entirety of human history. It's not about collecting more people. It's about rebuilding a small fire and sitting close enough to feel its heat. Because that's what all of this ultimately measures. Not popularity, not follower counts. Proximity to a handful of people who would notice if you disappeared. Your ancestors never needed a study to tell them that isolation was dangerous. Their bodies told them every single day, in the exact same language your body still speaks to you now, sitting there, checking your phone, waiting for the fire to answer back. So you check your phone again, no new messages. But maybe, for the first time, you understand exactly why that small silence feels so loud.